Hello, my friends. We
What's
are
up?
live.
What's up, David?
What's going on, man?
How you doing, bro?
What's going on here, man? What's
Whoa,
this?
what you got? What's the deal, man?
What is that?
It's my friend.
You got like a caterpillar on your chin, or
I'm going
on
with
your?
I'm going with the Freddie
your
Mercury
lip there?
vibe for a little bit.
You kind of do have that Freddie
Yeah.
Mercury vibe going, man.
I've been told, man. I tried the sideburns too.
I like
Just
it.
a little bit of a look.
In a weird way, I kind of like it. In a very
Appreciate it,
weird
man.
way.
Try
All
to
right.
throw it back to the 70s.
Hey guys, thank you for joining us tonight. We're excited to be back with you. Another week of wedding business growth.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody is doing well out there. We have a great guest joining us tonight. And if you saw our post earlier, we are talking about sales. Look at here. Your boy's already checking in. Ernie, what's up, man?
You know.
Our good buddy,
cool.
Ernie.
Thanks,
Nice
Ernie.
to see you, man.
Appreciate you.
All right. So, you know what's so funny? I mustache you
Let's
a
go.
question. I love it.
Love it.
I love it. So you know what's funny is that it seems like the last couple of weeks, you and I have been hanging out together so much that it's like
been a
I
lot.
can't even barely say what has your week been
We-
up to, because
yeah,
I've
yeah.
basically been a part of most of
It's
it. You know
been
what I
good,
mean?
man. No, but it's been all good stuff though. So
Yeah.
Very
We had
cool.
a great. We went down to Daytona today.
Yeah.
Saw our peeps down in Daytona. Shout out to Jan and all those peeps showing us some love down in Daytona again today. So that was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. What else did we do?
Oh my gosh, what didn't we do? Man, you've been working weddings.
Yeah.
Been seeing that stuff. That's awesome to get back to that. I know we got some good stuff lined up this week for some weddings. So
Halloween's this weekend,
grateful to be working.
right?
Yeah.
So
and Halloween, yeah.
everybody be celebrating Halloween, I'm sure. I know.
Spooky season.
Yeah, I know Ernie likes that spooky stuff, man. I think
I'm
Ernie,
spooky.
I think Ernie really likes to get in with the spookiest of spooks.
I'm ready to get
So,
spooky.
Yeah, right. So it should be fun. We're gonna have a good time with that. So yeah, I mean, I can't really speak on much of anything that happened this week that was super exciting, other than obviously
It's been a blur, truthfully.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah,
been
it's been
so
going
busy.
so crazy.
But I'm blessed, man.
Look at
We're
here.
blessed.
Ernie says he'll be here next week. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully,
Looking forward to it.
hopefully we'll have Ernie like right here next week. Then maybe like in between the two of us,
That would be
hanging out
sweet.
with us. That would be super cool. So Ernie,
Yeah.
if you are here,
That'd be so awesome.
I think that would be phenomenal.
Spookier the
Yeah,
better.
the spookier the better.
That's what's
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, we hope everybody's had a great week.
Yeah.
We thank you for joining us. Just a few housekeeping notes before we get going. If it's your first time joining us, well, first of all, welcome. Thank you. Also, if you like to, for us to be able to see your name and kind of like this, where we have Ernie's name and his handsome photo up on the screen,
Studley.
all you have to do is up in the comments section, you'll see a link at the very bottom of the comment that says we are going live on StreamYard, and we want to, we want to be able to display your name and photo so we know who you are, because otherwise it'll just say Facebook user. And as much as we have fun trying to figure out who Facebook user is, we'd love to really kind of call you by name and address you accordingly. So definitely just do that. Feel free to ask questions as long as you'd like to. Feel free to make comments. Feel free to comment on Nick's new Freddie Mercury look.
You already know.
Or whatever it is you want to. And before we get started, like we always do, a quick little DP cheers.
Toast.
Hopefully this does not end up all over the mix board again like
Cheers,
it did
brother.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, man.
All right. Oh, look at here. He's calling you a sexy. Oh, he's calling himself a sexy beast.
Yeah,
I like
He
how
is.
you did that, Ernie.
He
I like how
definitely
you
is.
did that.
no doubt.
Very good. All right, Nick. So any last first words before we get right into this thing?
I just really hope everyone's had a good week, man, and I really hope things are starting to, pick up for people. I know these are crazy times we're living in. I mean, there's a lot of hecticness in the world. I know that's probably not a word, but there's a lot of hecticness going on,
Sure.
man. I hope you guys can unwind and maybe have a little fun and learn something tonight with us. So glad to be a part of this community, and let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the place to be if you want to learn, honestly.
Yeah, man.
And,
We got a great guest today.
We want to obviously give a shout out to all of our friends at DJs Helping DJs and the DJs Vault, Wedding Business Growth on Facebook.
Yep.
Also, our Wedding Business Growth friends and family out there in YouTube world and in Twitch world. So we just, we just keep moving and shaking and growing and baking, or whatever it may be.
That was good.
Oh, look at here. Facebook user. Hey, David Hanscom, watching from Houston, Texas. Thank you for watching from Houston,
Appreciate you.
Texas.
Texas.
I don't know who you are, unfortunately, because it says Facebook user, but I'm glad you're watching, and
Big
I hope you enjoy tonight. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
without a doubt. All right, so I am going to do. Oh, there we go. Hey, Christina
What's up,
here.
Christina?
What's up?
How you
Good to
doing?
see you. This is our florist friend.
Yep. Thanks for being on.
I
That's
can
awesome.
imagine. You know what? I can imagine Christina probably has some pretty cool stuff going on this weekend with Halloween events. Like Halloween theme events
like
and flowers and all that stuff. Oh man, I bet that's gonna be some cool stuff.
Spider webs.
All right, so let's jump into this thing. Thank you guys. Keep sending your comments in, man. We love it. We love it. We love it. We love interacting with you guys watching us. All right, so I'm gonna introduce our speaker and then bring her on to join us. This is our speaker tonight is I never do weddings. Okay, well, maybe you will one day. So our speaker is Jan Spence. Our speaker today is a true innovator. Her family introduced peach jello to the world through a national commercial in the 1970s. That's pretty interesting,
That's wild.
huh?
Yeah.
She began her sales career at the age 10 selling donuts for summer camp. I think a lot of us probably have done some things like that as well. She then sold vacuum cleaners door to door at age 18 and went on to consult with national accounts such as Walmart, Pillsbury, and Frito-Lay. Jen even fulfilled a lifelong dream to play women's professional full tackle football, which we're going to have to talk about
we got to talk about
before
that.
we get into sales, okay?
That's hard.
And through speaking, training, and coaching, Jan engages individuals and companies to realize their core values and participate in reaching their goals. And this TEDx speaker comes here today to help inspire and teach us about sales. So please virtually put your hands together and help us welcome my good friend, Jan Spence. Hey, Jan, how are you?
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I am amazing. It's a beautiful, cool, great day in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm so happy to be joining this group. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. I'm going to just go through a few of our comments here real quick. DJ Mikey Mike, yes. All right. In your Groove Grill today.
Hey, I like that.
Not even playing around. I love it. Thank you, Mike, for checking in, man. Good to see you. So, Jan, let's dive right into this football thing because
I'm curious.
I mean, if we would have popped the screen up and it would have been, and I'm not trying to be sexist here by any means, but if it had been a dude that jumped up, then it probably would have been like, oh yeah, sure, I get it, football. But tell us about pro football. And here's somebody I know you know, Katie saying hi, saying buenos nachos.
Shout out to Katie Mack. Love it, love it, love it.
All right, so tell us about this pro football deal.
Oh my goodness, there's a whole long story. If it's okay, I'll give a shout out to my TEDx talk. And I think we'll talk about how to find me if you want more information at the end. But you can hear the extended story, that the roller coaster ride. Basically, my mom always wanted to play. So I heard her as a little kid. She would be watching football and she'd say, I want to be on the field. I want to put on the shoulder pads and the helmets. I want to tackle people. And so I was just a little kid. I didn't know any better. And so her dream really became my dream. But I couldn't play football because there was no football for little girls at the time. So I actually became a cheerleader. And but I kept the dream alive. My husband knew about it. We would sit at the Jacksonville Jaguars games, and I would say the same word that my mom would say. I'd say, I want to be on the field. That looks like fun. I want to put on all the equipment. I want to tackle people. And so finally got my chance actually to go to the tryouts. And it's a little bit of some twists and turns as to what happened there. And but ultimately, spoiler alert, I was able to play. But how I got there is really the important message. So you'll have to. I'll leave that as a cliffhanger to go find out more about the story. But
awesome.
Yeah, we went to the first ever Women's World Bowl in San Diego, and it was
incredible.
just an absolute blast. So I got to live my dream. So if I can live my dream, something as crazy as wanting to play pro football, people, you can live your dream too. So sometimes we don't think big enough, but we need to think a little bit bigger than where we are and believe that it can really come true. And there are ways that we can do that.
I love that.
Absolutely. Here's Ernie giving a shout out to Gardner Minshew.
I got that Minshew stash going on.
You got like the mini Minshew.
The mini Minshew, yeah. Minshew's is like a straight handlebar.
Yeah.
It's a power move.
I think we should call it mini Minshew.
Mini Minch?
I like the mini Minch. The mini Minch.
Love it.
Good stuff. Well, that is an exciting story. And by the way, you guys can find out the rest of the story by going to janspence.com and you'll find out all the information about Jan and her her career in professional women's football. That's really cool. And I know that was I know that's not what we came here to talk about tonight, but that's always so intriguing to me every time I see that. Look at Ernie.
Ernie's got the best stuff, man.
Min stash.
The min stash.
This guy, man, he always comes up with the dope stuff.
Bravo.
Yeah, golf clap on that one, right? All right, so tonight we're talking about sales, and at this time, everything that everybody's dealing with right now. sales is probably more difficult than ever. You know, people are having to really get creative about the way they're able to do sales, or the way they're able to handle their sales calls, whether they're inbound or outbound sales calls. And I think a lot of times, we've talked about this before in the past, Nick, and I think a lot of times people get a little confused between sales and marketing and kind of dump all of that into one bucket and one thing. You know what I mean?
I'm guilty of it myself.
Yeah. So, you know, let's just set the tone real quick, Jan. Let's just set the tone in your words. Let's separate marketing and sales to set the premise of tonight, and then we can move forward in the conversation from that.
Great. You are so wise, because so often people say, oh, I'm in the sales and marketing department, or I'm doing sales and marketing activities, and they lump them all together when what they really should be doing is distinguishing between the two. So this is the official, actually the unofficial, Jan Spence definition of the two. I consider marketing as all the other stuff you do to get your name in front of people, to draw people to you, for people to have an awareness of who you are and what you offer, that brand, why you're different, why you are unique, why they should choose you. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, that's all the marketing, that's all the other stuff. So if tangibly, we would call that your digital marketing, it's your social media, it's having videos on YouTube, it's maybe having a newsletter that you send out to people. It might be your website, just your website. Maybe it's flyers that you have. Maybe it's brochures and photographs that you present at March trade shows that you would give out to people so they could actually see examples of what you do. It's giving people that awareness, letting them know that you're there, what you have to offer, and how you're different. However, sales is the next step. So sales is really, and this is my definition, sales is having a conversation between a decision maker. That's it. So sales is actually having that conversation, and everything else in between that could be considered marketing. The brochures, the website, the emails, everything else is drawing them to you or letting them know that you're aware. But sales ultimately comes down to a conversation between you and the decision maker to articulate what are their needs, what you have to offer, and how you can fulfill that, and then where those two meet, if indeed they do. So that is my unofficial definition of the distinction between the two. How does that resonate with how you put those things in those two buckets?
Yeah, no, I couldn't, I don't think I could agree with you more. I think that makes a lot of sense, you know, and I think it helps just kind of set the tone, because again, a lot of times people, you know, bucket it all together. And I love how you break it down so simple to just basically say that it's a conversation. Yeah. And I think if we're able to get comfortable with realizing that this is really a conversation, that's very profound. Throw a few comments up here real quick. Hello from MA. This is my buddy Matt Peterson. I know he'll be on next week with us. So hey Matt, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Ernie says the client is buying into your personality before buying your product. Definitely. I think that's really great. Yeah. And I think that's a really good segue into kind of talking a little bit about mindset, because I think, you know, sometimes before we even have a chance to talk to somebody, our mindset already plays a big role in how that conversation even goes. And I think it's important for people to be okay with, and we're in a time right now where it's been said over and over again, we know people are struggling, we know people are having a hard time, we know people are having challenges in life, but you have to be okay with making money. I mean, that's how you keep your business going. That's how you pay your bills. That's how you take care of your family. Like, you have to be okay with making money.
That's a great point. And I mean, especially as a young business owner myself, like, I find myself struggling with that, because it's like, and that comes from confidence, I think, and security in yourself. And so when you're talking about you have to be comfortable with making money, it's like you have to be confident enough in your product, or, you know, what you're doing, to be able to say, like, I know that this is valuable, and like I know, like, this is worth something in the marketplace.
And not kind of feel like a, you know, sleazy. Everybody always uses the term sleazy used car salesman. Yeah. Like, I feel bad for the people out there that are used car salesmen, because they get the worst rap. Right. Like we probably should find another business at this point, because people have used car salesmen for so long as like defining sleazy, and they've probably kind of cleaned up, at least a lot of them have probably cleaned that up a little bit. But all right, so I want to kick it back over to you, Jan. Talk a little bit, if you would, about mindset and about some pointers that we can really help our viewers and really help them kind of tweak their mindset a little bit, maybe, and feel a little bit better and think a little bit better about sales.
Sure. And I love the way that you highlighted that. So because it's a conversation, I ask for permission. I'm going to sit down today. I've been doing a virtual sales training for a group. So some of the stuff you see behind there is some leftovers from that we're continuing tomorrow. So I left that up. So 2 things that I think about with mindset. So just want to address some of the things that Nick said. And there may be many of you out there listening right now that are thinking, I'm new. I don't have 700 weddings under my belt. I just bought the equipment and it's okay. And I'm trying to even get more equipment to be up to speed, whatever that is, from decor to lighting to whatever it may, flooring, whatever it might be for you, whatever element of the industry that you're in with events and with weddings. And so we really have to get into the mindset of fake it till you make it. And is that overused, David? Yep, that's an overused phrase too. But it's really about feeling nervous about it, feeling that fear, but moving forward. And I think the way that we can become confident is we do it. Because if you're hiding out and all you're doing is redoing your website every other weekend, but you're never actually having a conversation to sell something, to send a contract to someone, then you end up not having those opportunities to show that you absolutely are amazing. And you learn along the way, and you exercise those muscles by practicing them, and then the confidence comes. But, when we're learning to walk, we put one foot out and it's scary and we fall down. And then we try again and we fall down. We try again and we fall down until that first step when it's a little bit wobbly and we're like, I think I can walk. And then we put another step out and it's scary, but we do that and we keep going. So if people can frame their business with that and thinking of just feeling that fear, moving forward into it, that will build that confidence. And some of you are thinking, oh, Jan, I'm not in that position. I've been in the business for years. Yeah, but have you been through a pandemic? I don't know about you, but I've not lived through a pandemic before.
I have not been through one yet until now.
Unprecedented times.
Oh, please do not. Don't use that word. Don't use that word, unprecedented.
I know. I saw a post about it. Like, if I hear unprecedented one more time, right? It's hilarious.
Well, one of the things when you were talking, Jan, so you know me, and there's certain phrases that and you alluded to it, that I think are so outdated. But people use "fake it till you make it" a lot. But you know what I was thinking the other day? I like the phrase "burning while you're learning." And what I mean by that is, like, you have this burning fear, like, I'm going to mess up, I'm going to screw up. But as you're going, you're learning and you're growing and you're learning and you're growing. And if you can get through that burning while you're learning, you're going to get to where you want to be. And it's just you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where I think it's a positive twist on the old fake it till you make it, because when you fake it, you have if you're in this mindset of faking it, then there is a tendency to Ernie says, I'll smack you for saying unprecedented times. Right. But there's this tendency to kind of feel weird because you're like, fake it. So you're telling me I should just fake everything I'm doing? Like, this is not genuine. So I've just, and this is not anything obviously negative towards what you said, Jan. It's just to that one little phrase. It's always been something that I've always thought about, like, how could we tweak this to say something that means what I think people are trying to say when they use the phrase, but I don't know, maybe elevated or whatever. So real quickly, just want to check in with everybody again. If you're just watching us, we want to thank you guys for joining us. Feel free to leave comments or questions. We are joined tonight by Jan Spence, and we are talking about sales and kind of just attacking everything that is sales. So if you guys have questions about sales, if you guys have challenges with sales, Jan is here to help. We're here to help. So we want you to continue to keep dropping those comments and those questions. So Jan, what about this whole thought process, or kind of just shifting the your mindset and your perspective on again, feeling negative about sales? Like, what are some pointers and some tips that we can really help guys with, and ladies? Sorry.
Great. That's funny. I got after David a few weeks ago about the you guys.
Yep.
We're gonna be inclusive, so that's funny. I love it. You caught yourself. So and love the comments coming in. Since Ernie seems to be one of our wordsmiths of the day, why don't we give him that challenge? Because I wrote down burning while you're learning, but I'm sure Ernie can come up with something super cool, and I'm going to totally steal it with your permission, Ernie, because I love having something else other than fake it till you make it. I love it. So with the mindset, it really starts with being comfortable, as David said, with making money. As Nick said, just having that confidence that it's okay. And as I mentioned earlier, none of us have lived through a pandemic. So even the most experienced wedding professional out there might be going, well, how do I charge this much when people are hurting, when they're losing their job? Is it fair for me to still continue to charge the rates that I have? So it really starts with being comfortable that what we have is a value. So it all starts there, to know that you can believe and truly believe it, that because you are there to provide the services on a professional level, you know that you're going to make that very, very important experience in that person's life. You know that it's going to go smoothly. So instead of, Uncle Earl's neighbor who just happens to have a turntable and hiring them to be the DJ, and then the rest of that story when the equipment doesn't work and they don't know what they're doing and the dance floor is empty, those stories. So you have to believe that what you do is more than what you do. You have to have that confidence that what you provide has a deeper meaning in making that special day, even if it's a special event other than a wedding, go smoothly, and that is important. And don't leave it to those that aren't the professionals. So it first starts with that belief in yourself that you do have value and you make a difference. So when we get back in touch with that, sometimes those conversations become a little bit easier, because we have to resell ourselves. That's the first person we have to sell, is reselling ourselves, that what we do has value and that it's worth the price that's paid. So any reflections? Have you seen that, David or Nick?
That's a knowledge. That's a knowledge drop.
Yeah, that's a
wisdom
bomb drop right there. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't have faith in yourself and you don't have confidence in what you're selling, whether it's your services and or your products, you're already in a bad way.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
For sure. You're
already in a bad way. We got a couple questions that came in here. So Jan, this is for you. I'm not a pushy closer, so I really struggle with sealing the deal. I love some guidance on that from Jan. So that's a pretty good one there.
Yeah. Okay. Any others?
Let's attack that one, and then we'll keep going. Yeah, let's attack them one at a time. Why not?
Okay. So I'm just sitting there thinking, wow, there's a lot of content to give you to answer that question. So let me be succinct and give you something to walk away with that will help. That first piece is that mindset, is that we aren't that pushy person, that what we have is a value and that they truly need us, and believing in that in ourselves and letting that come through, because that you're not going to fake. That's going to be authentic when you know that what you do has value and provides and takes an event to another level, that's memorable, that's smooth, that's, I don't know if weddings are stress-free, but it's less stressful, one of those. So the kind of sales training that I teach, we don't talk about the closing questions and, grab them in a headlock and wrestle them to the ground till they sit, till they sign the contract. Right. It's totally turned around. You heard me say earlier, we would really want to have a conversation and find out what they're really looking for. And let me take that piece a step further. And I think that will help the closing the deal and not being pushy be more understandable. People say that they are looking for, we'll just go to DJ. That jumps in my head first. They're looking for a DJ. That's up here. That's on the surface. They think that's on that wedding checklist that they printed offline, and they're looking for a DJ. But what are they really looking for? Mm-hmm. What is it that they really want? I would love it if our viewing audience would share. And I don't know if we can do that, David, if there's time to just brainstorm, but I would love to hear from them.
Fine.
I'll riff a little bit, but I'd love to hear just to dig deeper. They're not looking for music at their wedding. They are looking to have two families come together that have fun and connect. They are looking for people to go saying that was a blast and the music was so great, everybody was packing the dance floor. They are looking for that time when they dance. Oh, brings tears to my voice. Sorry, I get choked up sometimes. They're looking to have that special dance with that person that maybe they've had some trouble with in the past, but they want that to be that special moment on that special day. That's what they really want.
Yeah.
Uncle Earl's neighbor can't provide that, but a true professional can. So when we tap into what your potential clients are really looking for, and we do that by asking questions, that's some technique part that we can talk about. When we go deeper than, oh, you need a DJ, some flowers, a wedding book, check, check, check. Those are things up here. What they really want is for them the most beautiful wedding, the most amazing event that they walk away going, that accomplished everything. Families came together. Nobody threw wine in somebody's face. There were no fist fights. Everybody had fun. And we do that by asking those questions to take it down a little bit of a layer of what they really want. Did anybody chime in on what they believe people are really wanting?
Yeah. So we have a comment come in. They're looking for a night of their lifelong magical dream wedding come true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And those the rest of you guys that are watching, feel free to comment as well. What like Jan said, what in your words and your thoughts, like think about not just surface level but deeper level. What are your clients really looking for? Ernie says they want a fun and stress-free day. Yes. Yeah, that's so perfect, so perfect. And I'm going to go back. Earlier we were talking about new ways to rephrase fake it till you make it. So Ernie says he's got 4 of them. Being honest until you make it. Mm-hmm. That's a good one. I like that. Trust that you can make it. Yep. Beautiful. Make it till you make it. I really like that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
I really like that one. And then practice till you make it. I think that's a great one too. Practice till you make it makes a lot of sense. So, Ernie, well done, man. As usual, you're always on the ball.
Yeah, he is.
And then of course Ernie said so many closing styles. Yeah, there are really a lot of different ways when it comes to closing. So I think that you're definitely on to something for real when we talk about the fact that you've really got to dive deeper. And if it's like, this is a prime example. I talk about this all the time. You probably already know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Like I own a DJ company. Hey Sal, good to see you back again, buddy. I own a DJ company, and I tell everybody that works for me, we are not in the music business. We are not in the entertainment business. Right. We are in the people business.
Right.
And what we provide to those people is entertainment and music and interaction and things like that. And it's important for us to understand that. Katie says sometimes you have to tailor your message to resonate directly with each person in order to make a better connection. People want to know how you relate to them, and once you build that rapport, you can grow a relationship and they trust you are the pro. Very good.
Yeah,
very good.
Man, Katie, that's a great statement, and it resonates with me for sure. But one thing I would really like to mention, David, and this kind of ties back to Jan's point about, we have to think a little bit deeper. Mm-hmm. We could even talk about this, like, I'm working a festival, like for me, and doing video stuff. Mm-hmm. It was like, I just want to, you need a videographer? Like, well, hold on. What do you need a videographer for? You need a videographer to show and showcase how fun this event is, how beautiful it is, what a great time it's going to be, and why you should be going to the event. It's actually, what I'm doing is marketing. It's not like just, you need a videographer, here you go. It's like, well, what's the intention of that being there? You need to, I definitely think that's important to understand in whatever space you're in for sure. So
sure. And we had a Facebook user comment said they want DJs that make their own music. That maybe absolutely could be true. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a clientele out there that are looking for sure. We would call that originality. I mean, to some extent, I think anytime a DJ plays a set, whether it's their own music or it's music by another artist, the way they craft and manipulate the set that they play still has some originality and creativity to it, unless they just completely see another DJ do what they do and then do exactly what they do. But the point being is, there's definitely a market out there for people who are looking for original music and original pieces. So that makes a lot of sense. Sorry, Jan, I think we've been just going on and on over here, and we're not neglecting you by any means.
You're right on. What I loved and what I was thinking about what Katie said was, she said adapting to that individual person. So I see that looking something, tailoring your message to resonate with each individual person to get a better connection. So the first thing I said is, it's a conversation between two people. That's really a connection. So it's not, they liked my Facebook, they liked this. That's great, but ultimately we want to have that conversation. And we do that by asking questions. So while you might have, to go back to Nick's example of, we need a videographer. Well, why do we need a videographer? Well, because we're just having a keynote speaker come in and we want to capture it for posterity purposes and putting it in our archive. Okay, what does that mean? How can we go deeper and ask questions to find out what they're really looking for? Well, what we're really doing is, this is the 50th anniversary of the company. We have someone really special coming in, and this person's going to present some award to the president, blah, blah, blah. I'm just riffing here. But by putting the technical stuff aside, so I want to say this, especially to my event planning, wedding planning folks, you all have that checklist. And if I could enter into your world, it's going to be, well, what's the date? How many people? What services are you looking for? What's your budget? All those technical things. What if we set some of that aside, or we said, hey, you know what, before we get to this conversation, let's make sure the date's open. And then I'm going to ask you some of those specifics. We'll get there. But before then, I want to know about you. What is it that you want, to use the phrase that someone had, that magical day? What does that look like? Well, it means Aunt Sarah doesn't fight with Uncle Phil. It means that that we capture this special moment and we end up giving this video as a present to our beloved president who's retiring after 50 years or whatever. There's something deeper there, and we get to know what that personal connection is, to put it in Katie's words, by asking those questions. Than just saying, we'll get to the details, because we've got to get to that. But tell me what this means to you. Folks, I guarantee you, if you get away from date, number of people, location, all of that, and you start having a deeper conversation with your prospects, you're going to stand out. You're going to look different. You're going to catch their attention, because they're going to know that you care and that you're different. You care about them and not just the date and the budget.
That gives me goosebumps just hearing that and thinking about that. And phenomenal. You know, I think to take it a step further too, for our folks that are watching, that and I could see this in the corporate world as well, but maybe not as much. Like in the wedding world, like one of the things that we have to remember too is, a lot of times there could be two people, maybe three people sitting in front of you. It could be bride, it could be groom, it could be bride's mom, and the answer to the question that you just asked could be three completely different answers. And it's important to understand and know that you've got to quickly be able to navigate through all of those, you know, definitely navigate through all of those, you know, responses that you get, and then create something. And this is where your true professionalism comes in. This is where you're able to stand out from your competition, because you're able to say, you know, bride, I understand perfectly, and this is what we can do for you. Groom, I know, you know, you feel this way. And mom, I know probably most of it is financial to you, and we're going to make sure that we don't break the bank and have you have to take a second loan out on your house to do this. But we're going to still make it amazing and make it fun. And so it's just mad important and super important to understand that if you're doing an event where there's more people involved than just one decision maker, this is going to probably be a longer conversation, a deeper conversation. And if you avoid the wrong person in the conversation, you won't get the sale, period.
And defining the maybe you could throw Katie's comment up there, because I think it's phenomenal. Defining the why and making sure that everyone's heard, not just heard through your ears, but they're heard like in here. I love that. That's phenomenal.
All right, so I think we're making good headway on this. Let's talk about behaviors as it comes to being a good salesperson versus probably things that we all are guilty of doing that we could get better about. Let's talk a little bit about that, Jan.
So when I talk about behaviors, I'm talking about measurement. I am talking about the what you do. That is the how many people are you connecting with? How are you following up on those leads? That person who has liked your recent stuff on Facebook and you're wondering why all of a sudden they've just risen to the top. Those are the activities that you're doing to draw those conversations to yourself. And this is something, and y'all aren't going to like to hear it. And I think David alluded a little bit to that, just talking about we're guilty of that. So many folks get into the business because they love decor, because they love music, because they love planning and organizing. Or if you're like me, you played the wedding game as a little girl, and that was just entrenched in planning those weddings. And that was just something that you did. And so all of a sudden you find yourself as a professional, you find yourself as a business owner, and all of a sudden realize that you're now in sales and you never signed up for sales, but now you're in that. So we have to make a part of our day and our week, our month, our quarter, our years, and our business plan. We have to incorporate those behaviors and that measurement to know what you're doing to keep yourself on track to continue to grow the business. So if we sit back and wait for the phone to ring, you'll get some events, you'll get some gigs, as we call it in the speaking world. But if you are actively pursuing, if you are actively following up on conversations and framing those conversations to have the next conversation, those are the types of activities that will take your business to the next level. So I would challenge the audience out there, who knows exactly how many events at an average price that you need to do to hit your goals this year? And you're thinking, Jan, we're in a pandemic. I know that, but we still have to ask that question. Go ahead, jump in.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and I would be curious to know, where's everybody at with that? I mean, do you really dive that deep into knowing? I know this probably sounds like an off-color comment, but that nut to crack, like, do you know what that number is to crack that nut? And if you do, definitely drop it in the comments, because I'm proud of you if you do.
Yeah, these are hard. That's hard. That's a hard thing to kind of bear. It's the not fun stuff. It's like, man, like, let's really break this down to be like, all right, what does this really look like? And like we talked about it. I think we talked about it last week. It was like, or maybe a few episodes ago, it was about how much money do I really need to be living off of, and what does that really look like? And in order to make it work, I have to put money towards the business, and then I have to put money to pay myself. And what does that really look like? It starts to look a lot different, as kind of Jan alluded to.
And at the end of the day, if you don't know where you're going, how do you ever know when you're going to get there?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, seriously.
That's a snippet.
Seriously, right? Like, if you don't know where you're going, how do you ever know when you're going to get there?
Yeah.
And we can't especially during a pandemic, we can't just fly by the seat of our pants.
Yep.
We can't just assume that something or somebody is going to bail us out. We all see how well that's not going. So, I mean, like, we have to be very aware, and we have to adjust based on our awareness of what's really going on for us.
Fail to plan to fail.
There you go. Man, we're dropping those cliches tonight, aren't we?
Goodness.
Are those cliches, or what do they call those?
I don't even know, man.
I don't know.
Truthfully.
Jan, what do they call those?
Maybe you can help us out.
I think they're cliches. But you're both. I love the verbiage you're using, and I was sitting here. I was going, I'm really being challenged to come up with new ideas and new phrases. So thank you. But that's your gift to me tonight, is to come up with some different things and some different ways to communicate some concepts that we've heard before, but in a fresh and new way. So
we had somebody say 100 gigs at $20,000. I don't know if that means $20,000 a gig or.
Dude, if it's $20,000 a gig and you're doing 100 gigs, bro. That's some next level stuff.
You're doing something really well. We might need to bring you on as a guest to talk about that.
Man, that would be crazy.
Right? All right. So
he
or she. I'm not sure who this is. Or he or she is saying a gig. Well, that's a lofty goal. You know what I mean? And in this industry, that's a great goal to go after. And that's and in this day and age, that's a lofty goal to go after. But hell, if you're not setting your goals big, why even set them?
That's true, man.
I love
it. We kind of talked about that today too.
Yeah, we absolutely did.
So.
Absolutely did. All right, so Ernie says, if I was only doing movies, which, by the way, Jan, Ernie does a great movie, like outdoor movie big projection, super cool sound, really good stuff. If I was only doing movies, that would have been about 350 at a minimum of 150 a movie event. It's nuts for sure during doing a pandemic. Yep.
Man.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, I mean, when you think about if you had to do 350 movies,
It's almost every day.
that is unbelievable. I
Yeah.
mean, that's like, 4 or 5 a day, or doing them almost every day,
Once a day, yeah.
in order to make that happen. So, I mean, these are the
But
things.
he knows.
Yeah.
Like that's
The
like,
fact that he does know is,
Right.
is the most important thing in all of
Exactly.
this, right? And, that's impressive. That's definitely impressive.
So
Go
I
ahead,
wanted
Jan,
to,
sorry.
yeah, no, it's great. I just wanted to comment on those last few things. So I love the people that know that, or even if you just, grabbed a cocktail napkin and started scribbling off some numbers. Fantastic. And kudos to you. 2 questions I want to ask. One thing I want to say and one thing I want to ask. For those of you who don't, there's no shame. There's no shame here. There's no judgment. I'm here, wedding business growth. This is about helping you take your business to a next level. And it's by taking action and having one of those steps. And maybe that is, gee, I've never really crunched the numbers. Or, yeah, Jan, I crunched the numbers in January and all that went to hell in a handbasket. Another
Right.
cliche. In March. So, but it's time to get the pencil back to the paper and say, well, hey, what do I need to do to finish strong? I've got 2 more months, holiday season. What does that mean for me? Or, you know what? I can start controlling the amount of people that I reach out to, and I can start building my next April, May, June wedding calendar busy season time frame. So there are things that we can do to empower you. So there's no judgment. If you haven't been in the place to where you've calculated that, you can still do that. The other thing, and I see this as my role coming really kind of from outside of that industry, is asking, you're saying, hey, strong, 100 and such gigs at 20,000. So that's great, but why not? Why not have every event be 20,000? I don't know what your pricing is. I don't know your world, but to me, that's not foreign. And again, I don't know what that is, and that person doesn't need to answer that. But as you're going, wow, that's strong, I'm going, why the hell not? And then I'm looking at Ernie and I'm going, you set up outside movies where people can socially distance, and I don't know everything that Ernie does, where people can socially distance and people are craving human connection right now in a socially respectful way. Your phone should be ringing off the wall. You should be going to every corporation and every individual and every family reunion that ever was to be and saying, I can do this. And I'm not judging here because I don't know your world. But for me, $150 just to get in the car and drive somewhere, I don't know your world, but I would reflect on that pricing, and I think we could get that up if you're in demand.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know anything I don't know, but I'm here to challenge you and say, if you've got value and now is the time, this may be the very time that you say, you know what, I have something. Remember what I said in the beginning? You got to believe that what you have makes a difference.
Yeah.
You get that.
Ernie says, I went back through clients. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jen. Finish with your thought. I'm sorry.
Just getting that community together, getting families together, getting people out of the flipping house, and helping them do that in a safe way, that has impact in people's lives in a way you may never know, Ernie. So I'm
it's so valuable. Yeah. I mean, kind of to Jan's point as well. I would say what Ernie's doing is right now is unbelievably valuable. Like Jan just said, to get them out of the house, like that carries so much more value now than it might have in 2019. So yeah, no, for sure. And from what I see from Ernie's postings, it pops off. Yeah. Like if I could just gas up Ernie for a second here.
Well, he said he raised his rates 300 to 300 halfway through the summer, so that's
awesome,
perfect.
Bro. Yeah.
That's that old adage of supply and demand, and where you were about to go, and go ahead and go to that, gassing him up, because I agree with you 100%. Go ahead.
I mean, he's absolutely killing it. Like every time I go on my Facebook, he's got one. So I mean, the amount of value he's providing to people is clearly there, and it looks like he's putting on some really, really amazing stuff. So I mean, yeah, dude, just keep it up.
Without a doubt. All right, so what are a couple of pitfalls that maybe people should think about avoiding when it comes to this whole sales game, Jan, and kind of the behavioral side of things? What are some pitfalls to really avoid?
So we talked about the mindset. We talked about behaviors, which really the measurement. What are you doing on a daily, weekly basis to reach out to people to have those connections that we discussed? And then really the method. So the method is the how-to. What do I say? Kind of falls in that closing technique thing, although I don't go there because I believe if you ask those questions and sound differently from your conversation, sound differently. Anyway, if you sound different from your competitors who are just going date, budget, number of people, location, etc., and you start digging into those deeper whys and what's really, really important to them and peeling back the layers of what they really want, even though they may not even know how to articulate that, you're going to sound different. You're going to build that connection unlike anyone else. So when we do that by asking questions. And once we get to that point, when that person feels that connection with us, when they feel like, wow, you know, they get me. They ask questions. They understood what I'm really, really looking for. That's what takes us to that next level. So my real closing question, if you want to say I have one, is just based on what you told me, you're looking for this, and this. And those are those real deep level, why, personal, meaningful things, and not the surface stuff. 6 monitors, 12 by 12 dance floor, 3 camera shoot, those kinds of things. But once we get to what they're really looking for, and you say, we can provide this, and this, we can handle that in a unique way, the way that we do. What do we do next? Does it make sense to move forward? Would you like to know how we can make this happen for you? So just very conversational, just very, hey, did I hear you correctly? Is this what you wanted? This is what I can provide. Does it make sense for us to move forward to the next steps to giving you those things that you said that you really wanted? So very simple, very straightforward. So that's about all I got in the closing department.
That's
I love that.
The pitfalls, I would say, is that when people get to that point, they get nervous for some of the things that we talked about earlier with just feeling, oh, this is icky. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be slimy. I don't want to be slick. That's not me. I'm not a salesperson. Well, guess what? If you're in your own business, you're in sales. Sorry to break it to you, but it's true. Yes. And so at that point, we just have to believe that it's okay to ask for the order. But really all we need to do is just make sure that we keep the process moving. So the biggest pitfall that I see, David, is that people leave the ball in the prospect's court. And they say, okay, well, great. Well, that sounds good. We can do everything. And here's my glossy brochure, or I'll email you my proposal and just tell me what you think. Talk it over. And I'd love to work with you. I'd love to earn your business. So let me know what you think. I'll look forward to hearing from you. And then we sit by the phone and wait for the phone to ring. Mm-hmm. So exactly. That is the biggest thing. Yeah. I would love to ask for raise of hands, but I won't do that. So raise your own hand. Who's guilty?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So we got a couple more comments. Ernie's on fire tonight.
Yeah.
Mindset must be a go-getter attitude, proactive rather than reactive. I'm seriously fired up right now, folks. Jan is singing to my heartstrings right now. Love that. And be a solution provider, not a salesman. Yeah, that's
solution provider,
that's
not
big.
A salesman.
That's big.
Wow.
That might borderline on our vibe manager stuff, man.
That's some serious vibe management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
I love it too. Artie, you're on fire there. I love it. Love it.
That was great.
Good stuff. Very good stuff. Well, I wanna just I know that we could probably go a whole hour on this topic, but I just wanna maybe scratch the surface a little bit, Jan, if you will. As it pertains to the ARC method and techniques on prospecting and things like that, let's maybe just tease a little bit about that, and then maybe we can have you come back and we might do a show just on that.
I think that would be
honest
awesome.
with you.
Yeah.
So tease us a little bit.
All right, I will share. And I didn't ask your permission for this, David, but if it's okay, I don't have it planned now, but I do a 14-day prospecting challenge for people. And this is perfect target people that own their own business because they love what they do, but they've never really had sales training or been in sales. And they're looking for a process to follow, some accountability, a small group that they can network with to hold them accountable. So Don't know when that's coming up next, but if we can share, they can come check out follow me and check out my stuff.
Definitely get the word out. Yes.
So I love to see people grow because they get the answers that no one else is giving them, and this fresh new approach. So what the ARC method is, and it's right here behind me, I believe. If you can see that, if you can't, don't worry about it. It is a process to start the conversation. So after we get that initial call, and maybe we set up that meeting, or we decide we've got all the decision makers on the phone, and we're just doing that initial connection with them, we frame the call with the agenda and the time. So the A stands for what's the purpose of the call, what is the agenda, what are they looking for, and how long do we need? Because what you don't need is someone who's on their 15-minute break at work that's calling to get a price real quick, when you need to go through 25 minutes of discovery on what mom wants and the groom wants and some of those deeper questions that we just talked about. So, and dads get to weigh into, because often it's their wallet that's happening. So what is the purpose and how much time do we actually need? So we clarify that. Then from that, we move into the R, which stands for our roles. And our roles are both theirs and mine. So often mine might sound like something, if someone calls in, I'll say, hey, I'm going to have some questions about the event that you're looking to put on, what you're hoping to accomplish, what your ultimate goals are. And I'm sure you're going to have some questions for me on availability, budget, my topics, what I might cover, etc. Does that sound like what you're thinking? And they'll agree, or they say, oh yeah, we needed to know about this and this and this. So we have everything laid out on the table of what my expectation, my responsibility in the meeting or the phone call is, and what their responsibility for the meeting and the phone call is. So we outline that ahead of time, because I don't know if you're like me, but maybe you had that meeting and they're like, oh, well, grandma's ultimately paying for it, so we should have had her here because she could have said yes or no. And now we've got to have another conversation with grandma.
Right.
Anyway, David's laughing because it's
been there, done that.
We've all been there, yeah.
So we want to outline what the roles are to make sure we have the people in the room and everyone is being very above board, being very authentic, being very real with each other as to what the expectation is. And then the clear next steps are clear next steps. And by that, I mean, often people will wrap up that call with, hey, let me send you that proposal. Let me send you some samples, etc. And then we don't make it clear. And that's when we sit there a wishing and a hoping that the phone would ring. And then we start thinking, well, I sent it a week ago. Have they had enough time? Should I call them? Well, it's a Monday. I really shouldn't call them on a Monday. You know what? It's 11 o'clock. They're probably at work. I mean, what if they're at a meeting? I'll try them after 5. Oh, you know what? They're probably having dinner. This is a terrible time. I'll call them on the weekend. You know what? They're probably in the middle of something on the weekend. And we start going through all of this self-talk that keeps us from ever picking up the phone to follow up. All we needed to do was have a clear next step. And say, Mr. and Ms. Prospect, I'm going to send you this by email by 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. When do you think you'll have a chance to look at it? Do you have your calendar in front of you? Why don't we schedule a 15, 20-minute follow-up call so I can answer any questions, see what it is, see what you think, and we can talk about whether or not we're a good fit to be the XYZ provider for your particular event. And then it's teed up, and it's Tuesday at 2, and we get on the phone Tuesday at 2. Did you get the proposal? What did you think? What questions could I ask? Did we meet your needs? Do you see how I can provide that? Does it make sense for us to talk about what the next steps would be? Bada boom, bada bing.
Oh, yeah. My goodness.
Ernie says, God, I love you, Jen.
Thank you, Ernie.
But I love that.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, that resonates with me so much. And I think a lot of the times, like, that's literally just that. It's as simple as just that is like the missing piece.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, including myself sometimes, man. We talked about it today.
Yeah, and you know, I've had conversations with so many people talking about the fact that we complicate so much stuff for ourselves
in our
that
own
we
heads.
Don't have to.
Yeah.
We don't
sure.
have to complicate this stuff for ourselves. And just listening, Jan, just listening to you, even. And I know that's really just really scratching the surface of this stuff. Yeah. And even just listening to that, it's like a punch in the face. Like, dude, this is all you need to be doing.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with you?
Yeah.
Well, You know, I know, and you said, and I appreciate you saying that you didn't ask permission, but absolutely you have absolute permission from us, because our whole goal is to provide the people that watch this show and the people that follow us, we want to provide them with every tool they could possibly put in their toolbox to be able to be successful for their business and not struggle in their business. Yeah. And I'm here to tell you guys that sometimes tools cost you money, and sometimes you have to spend some money to make some money. 100%. We all know that. Oh, yeah. We're all really good about doing that when it comes to buying equipment. We're all really good about doing that when it comes to buying flashy toys and things like that. But you've got to be able to educate your mind just as much as you got to be able to use that equipment to do your job. Yeah. And so anytime somebody like Jan comes along, and this, we didn't plan this. This is not any kind of a plug or anything like that. It's just that anytime an opportunity comes along for you to be able to, maybe you already have that tool in your toolbox, but maybe it's gotten a little dull. Maybe you haven't used it in a while, and you really need to sharpen that tool. This is the kind of opportunity that comes along to have the opportunity to be able to do that. Yeah. You know, and what better time right now where maybe we're not as busy as we'd like to be? Why not kind of like, arm yourself and amp yourself up and be ready, because it's going to come. Yeah. One day, sooner or later, whether it's, everybody has their different, predictions on when it's going to be. Yeah. Maybe it'll be before the end of this year. Maybe it won't be till 2021. That part of it is irrelevant. Yeah. If it's tomorrow, are you ready? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah.
And these are the kind of things that help prepare you to be ready for those things.
Yep. Oh, man, that's another one. Man, making a drop here tonight, guys.
Look at this guy. Don't be a fool. Care for your tool. Yes.
Yo, Ernie.
Ernie.
Cheers, man.
Coming through.
That was clutch.
Coming through. All right. We're getting close to the end of our hour, and we always like to do a fun thing before we get to the end. So before we shut down, first of all, those of you that are viewing, think about your questions. Drop them in the comments. Yep. Meanwhile, Jan, real quickly, if you would, let everybody watching know how they can get in touch with you to explore this further and to learn more about what we're talking about tonight.
Hey, one of the things I was taught, totally agree with you, David. I invest in myself. I invest in my team to get better, because I don't have all the answers. And if I'm going to keep climbing the ladder, I can't stay stuck where I'm at. I always need to get better. So the easiest thing, they said, give everyone one place to go. So the easiest place is janspence.com. And that's JANSPENCE.com. You can follow me on YouTube, subscribe. I have a 1-minute Monday weekly tip that goes out. It's an encouragement tip, really talks about encouraging your team, but a lot of that translates to prospects and customers. And follow me on Facebook, that sort of thing. If you're connected with me there, then you will see when that next 14-day challenge comes up. And the next, Ernie's like, yep, what about the course? So you'll see when that comes up. I don't have a date on the calendar right now for that. Thank goodness. I'll just share the quick testimony, because I'm living what I'm teaching you. And trust me, I had a dark, dark day, that week after everything hit. And I thought, oh my goodness, I was getting cancellations on speaking engagements. But one week I gave myself to have a pity party. And then after that, I said, what are we going to do? And I invested in myself and a coach and teaching me how to do the challenges. And folks, I'm up. I haven't looked at the numbers for the end of this month yet, but I'm up over 25% of what I was last year, because I'm doing the very things that I tell you. So you can grow in a pandemic. You can make your business grow. We just need to get that investment in ourselves to look differently. So thankfully, I've been so busy, I don't have another one on the calendar, but it will be coming before the end of the year or the beginning of next year to get everyone cranking. So follow me, and then you'll see when that comes up. Ernie, I expect to see you in the challenge when that happens, and hopefully
Ernie will be there. Yes, sure. I if I know anything, I know Ernie will be there, and I can definitely. Attest to what you're saying. Jan and I've been very fortunate to do a handful of events together, and it really was, we learned so much together about adapting to what we have available to us. We had one event that we did together where the client absolutely refused to use Zoom, and it was just. It was, luckily at the end, they finally just said, yes, to hell with it. Let's just use Zoom and make everything so much easier. But we were really having to to just on the fly figure out, okay, well, how can we do this? How can we do that? Because the platform that they were using just didn't allow us to do some of the things that we were so used to doing and so simple to do on the Zoom platform that that we were just beating our heads up against the wall. So we were glad when they didn't when they finally said we could do that. So anyways, well, Jan, I love having you on with us, and I think we could go on for hours and hours, but we want to be respectful of your time. So before we wrap up, this is always our fun thing that we love to do, brought to you by our good friends Travis and the rest of the folks over at Poddex. And if you and we'll just give them a quick shameless plug. And I also want to mention our sponsor, Request Now, especially for our DJ friends out there. If you have not looked into Request Now, I know that some of you maybe are not doing as many events now as you have been doing, but through the Request Now platform, it does allow you to receive requests from guests at a socially distanced. They can text in their request to you. They can send photos, selfies, and things like that into you at the event and things like that. So for our DJ friends, but even for we definitely agree with you, Ernie, amazing guest. Absolutely, Jan is amazing. But even for some of our other wedding professional friends out there, they're kind of looking for something new and innovative to add to events that they are working now. Definitely look into Request Now. So going back to Poddex, if you do a podcast or you're thinking about getting into a podcast, Poddex is amazing because what it is, and we actually have the phone version now, but they originally had a handheld or just like almost like a deck of cards, and it's just a lot of fun questions. And if you've been watching our show for any length of time, you already know what we're about to do. But Jan, we are going to just kind of ping pong back and forth. We love when the audience gets in this too. So audience, please drop your answers to these questions in the comments. We want to see what you guys have to say.
It's so fun. It's a great way to end the show.
This is a fun way to end the show, and so we'll riff on this for a few minutes, and then we'll shut it down. You want to go first?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
All right, go ahead.
How old do you think you will live to be?
How old do you think you will live to be? And Ernie says the PG version. Ernie, you bring us what you want to bring us, man. We're good. We're good. So, all right, Jan. So, how old do you think you'll live to be?
But my family tends to go 91. But hey, if I make it to the end of the year, I'm just happy with that.
Yeah. That's a great answer right there. I like that.
That's awesome.
I feel the exact same, man. If I could make it to 2021.
Well, Dylan keeps telling me that, we're going to live to 100 now because of this, that, and the other thing. And
for real?
I'm talking about my son, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to make it till 100. I'll put it this way. If I'm going to make it till 100, I'm definitely going to have to get some knee replacements because my knees are already about done. Yeah. And if I've got to go another lifelong time that I've already been now, I need some new knees, man. I need some new knees. Look at Ernie. Until my dying day. Ernie coming in with the heat. All right, so here you go. Next question. I'll go to you first, Jan. If you could talk to one species of animal, what would it be and why?
One species of animal. I wanted to go elephant, but you know what? I'm going fish because they're so hard to read. You can't see a whole lot of facial expression. Okay. I have one right now that's sick, and he can't tell me what's going on. So
what's wrong, bud?
That's awesome. That's awesome. You already know what I'm going to say, right?
I'm the honey badger.
You're the honey badger, but I'm going to say a shark, man, because I want to. Why do I want to say a shark?
Because you swim around doing shark shit.
That's right. That's right. I want to swim around with them doing shark shit and talk about shark shit.
I would say I'm the honey badger because the honey badger don't give a shit. I'm just kidding.
Dude, you're too crazy. All right, go ahead. Your turn.
Man. If you could do it, what would you change your name to?
Ooh.
Birds, definitely, says Ernie.
Ernie says birds, yeah.
I think I would change my name to Baby Goat.
Baby Goat? I mean, that's kind of already your nickname, so I don't know if you need to change it to that. Ernie says Bombs.
I'm just being silly.
Ernie's new name would be Bombs.
Bombs?
I think that's it. All right.
What you got?
Me?
Yeah, anyone.
I don't know. I don't think I want to change my name. I think I'm cool with it.
You like it?
Yeah, whatever. I'm fine with it.
All right.
I'm fine with
Can
it.
I ask you a different question then? Since
Yeah,
y'all already
ask a
answered it?
different question.
Okay. Have you ever performed? Oh, okay, nope. Have you ever had a crush on a coworker?
Have you ever had a crush on a coworker?
That's a good question. Definitely.
Jan, I see a little laughter there.
Wow. This was not a coworker. It's more of a hired vendor. It was our IT person. Just a very
That's
handsome
fair.
man, and he just
All right.
wore Salt and Pepper very well. So
That's perfect.
that's
There
it.
you go.
David?
No go. Nothing.
Nothing?
Nah.
Hmm.
You?
Yeah. Back in my Winn-Dixie days.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was a teenager. Yeah.
What did she do?
She was a cashier, and she was way older than I was, and I knew I was like 15, dude. I had no chance, and she was in college, and I would just daydream about her.
Did
while
you shoot your shot or?
I did not shoot my shot.
Shame on you.
Shame.
Ernie says only when he looks in the mirror at work does he have a crush on a coworker.
He's just getting ready for an event backstage. He's like, man,
He's
I
like,
look good.
This dude right here, man. If I could just get with this guy right here.
No, we love you, Ernie.
Oh my gosh. All right, this could be a fun one. Can you impersonate anyone famous?
Donald, listen to me.
Mm.
Does that count?
I guess.
All right.
Okay. All right.
I can keep going if you want.
I got
Jan, you got any impersonations?
Rosanna.
Nice. I like it.
Saturday Night Live, but I don't watch.
I
I don't
love
have
it.
time to watch TV anymore.
That's perfect. True.
Rosanna.
I love it. All right.
Rosanna.
We'll go two more. You got one, and I'll drop one.
All right. If you ever wrote a memoir, what would the title be?
If you ever wrote a memoir,
Yeah.
what would the title be?
I got mine. The title would have to be "You Are Not Gonna Believe This Shit."
There you go. That's
I
a
love
great
that.
one. That's a great title.
I like how Ernie said I can talk like Charlie Chaplin, and the irony of that is like Charlie Chaplin like never talked.
Yeah,
in silent
exactly.
films. That's funny.
It's it's like the karaoke singer that gets up and sings Tequila. Exactly. So, what was the title of your memoir again? Oh yeah, You're Not Gonna Believe This Shit. I
love
like that.
that.
That's a good one. Are we allowed to cuss on this show? Yeah, why not? It's our show.
We do though all the time.
Yeah, we
though.
do. You're
It's
right.
too late.
You're
Nick,
right.
Nick
Well, it's
did.
late.
I
We're
just
watching it
followed
late.
suit. So
Yeah. I usually don't curse though. That's the funny thing. It's
Yeah,
like,
it is.
yeah, I usually don't swear.
My memoir would probably be, can you believe this shit from Jan? No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, I got a good one.
What's yours?
Mine would be Tales of a Baby Goat.
Tales of a Baby Goat. Oh my gosh, you are on this baby goat thing.
Yeah, man.
Here we go. My memoir would say, who gave this guy the mic?
Oh, that's
Nice.
funny.
Nice, Ernie.
True.
Coming in clutch. All right. I'm going to find one more.
Some
I'm
of
going
these
to
are
find
really-
one more. That one's silly. All right, guys, we're coming to the end of this.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions for Jan, now's
Get 'em
the
in.
time to drop those questions in. I'm just trying to find one more fun question to throw in here before we wrap it up. Because you know what? I'm going to go to the paranormal deck because it is close to Halloween. So why not? All right, so. All right, this is just a simple one. What's your favorite scary movie? What's your favorite scary movie?
Man,
yeah, that's it.
I have a few. I would say I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre just because it's so brutal. Like it's like I like it just because it's like
Jan, look at Jan.
it's just like who thought of this?
Yeah.
It's like God, this is dark. But also like in terms of just scare factor, Mirror, like you know that Mirror movie?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, that was like one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. It
Yeah.
scared the living bejesus out of me, and it was just like because it was pop stuff just popped out all the time. And
Right.
That's what gets me all the time. So, but in terms of just dark and twisted, I would say like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then like scary, like would be like Mirror.
Yeah.
Star Wars or Star Trek, true.
Jan, you got any scary movie faves?
I don't know how you can. I used to really like horror movies when I was younger,
The original.
but
Halloween.
then Yeah, The Shining's good.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's a good classic. Is it Psycho? The Alfred Hitchcock one. Go old
Yep.
school.
I
So
like those
that,
old ones too.
Yep.
and then just
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not a big fan of like the fake gore movies though. Like I like suspense movies that you know make you jump and stuff like that. Like I like those kind of movies. Now, did you guys see this movie Hostel? Did you ever see that movie? So the weirdest thing about this movie Hostel to me was like the first like 30 to 40 oh my god. The first 30 to 40 I can't even believe that's in there. The first 30 to 45 minutes of this movie is like a spring break. Like these kids go and they're like on spring break and everybody's fun and we're all having a good time, and then all of a sudden somebody's head falls off and you're like, wait a minute, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
You're like, where did that come from? And then the whole movie just goes south from there. But it was just the weirdest. I don't know. And
That's
then they
almost
made
like
multiple movies of it.
But that's like Jason too. It's very like let's go to a house together, and all of a sudden I'm just gonna stab you in the throat.
Yeah.
Like whatever. I don't know.
Um,
Horror movies are weird.
They really are.
Yeah.
They really are. I'm a big fan of American Horror Story, though. I love that show.
That's creepily twisted, though.
I love that show.
Oh my goodness.
I love that show.
I can't watch it by myself.
Yeah, Jigsaw was a great twist. That's no doubt about that.
Oh, Saw, dude. What about Saw?
Yeah, Saw was something else.
Yeah.
All right, Jan. We've kept you way past our bedtime.
So sorry. Thanks for being on with us, though.
Yeah,
Seriously,
thank you, Jan. Man, I hope you guys, if you didn't get something out of tonight, this is the best advice I can give you. Go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
Okay, if you didn't get something out of tonight,
Yeah.
go back and rewatch it, because there were so many gems that Jan dropped on us tonight that you guys really, I don't let them go over your head. Don't let them go past you, because they're going to really help you with your business. So we're going to sign off of here, Jan. We're going to keep you in the backstage with us for just a couple seconds after we go off live, if that's okay. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Ernie, we love you to death, man. We can't wait to see you. Hopefully we can see you next week when you're down this way. Everybody else, stay safe, stay busy. If you're not,
your week,
if you're not working, then work on the things that are going to help you when it's time to start working again.
There were a lot of great takeaways that you can start to apply to this week, so for sure. So, Jen, thank you so much for being on with us.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks again.